The Super Mario Bros. Series is regarded as one of the best video game series of all time, arguably the biggest video game franchise sporting multiple movies, video games, merchandise, etc. And the series itself has branched off into multiple different genres in gaming, whether it be RPGs, platformers, puzzle games, you name it, there is a Mario game out about it. And many of those games are regarded as some of the best video games of all time. And one of these games I played for the first time last year was one of the best platforming experiences I have ever had, in a game that is indeed regarded as one of the best games ever made, and that would be Super Mario Galaxy, released on the Nintendo Wii back in 2007. There are multiple people out there who absolutely love this game, as well as its sequel, Super Mario Galaxy 2, which took all of the ideas that they couldn't fit into this game, and innovated it into more creative platforming, new story, that kind of thing for the sequel. Super Mario Galaxy is an extremely unique game, both in the story department for the Mario series, as well as its gameplay, music, and just the platforming challenges that it presents in multiple different galaxies that you visit. Everyone, this is by far a crowning achievement of a game. And I want to talk to you a little bit about my thoughts on the game, and, well, that's really all I can say here for the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to the masterpiece that is Super Mario Galaxy. Before we get too far into this video and reviewing Super Mario Galaxy, let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below if you have indeed played this legendary platforming game. Because outside of the Crash Bandicoot series and a few other titles, I have not played a platforming game from the Mario series, or anywhere else for that matter, that has innovated in so many different departments like this one has. So please, if you have any experience with this game, whether you like it, whether you hate it, let me know your thoughts on Super Mario Galaxy in the comment section down below. I would love to talk with you guys about this from the community. Mario games are typically not known for their in-depth plots, unless you're talking about the RPG games like the Paper Mario series, or whether we're talking about the Mario and Luigi series. Mario games typically follow this similar type of formula where Mario is rescuing Peach from Bowser and stopping some other great threat in the process, going through a number of worlds, galaxies, what have you, going through a number of levels with unique gameplay mechanics, taking down bosses, and ultimately defeating Bowser at the end and rescuing Peach. Now, Super Mario Galaxy follows that formula to a certain degree, but it has a far more in-depth story with some original characters this time around. On the night of the Starlight Festival in the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario is invited by Princess Peach to watch the star showers with her. As the galaxies open up in the beautiful night sky, she wants to be able to observe all of this with Mario. However, this party is quickly crashed in the very beginning intro level where Bowser comes and abducts Peach as well as her entire castle. With Mario being on this floating continent lifted slowly into the sky, he is kicked off by one of Bowser's top minions, Kamek, where Mario seemingly plummets to his death within the depths of outer space. Mario shortly after this incident wakes up. Mario afterwards wakes up on the Comet Observatory, run by a woman known as Rosalina, and a bunch of little cute star sprites, beings that make up different parts of the galaxy, the very essence of starlight themselves. Rosalina tells Mario that Bowser, upon kidnapping Peach, wants to create his own universe and take over the world, what else, with Peach by his side. He has taken very critical batteries that power the observatory that allow them to travel the galaxies. So, she asks Mario for his help in not only defeating Bowser, but getting back these power cells of sorts that are needed to power the Comet Observatory, so that Rosalina and her people can continue to traverse the galaxy as a whole. This is a very simple story setup. Right after that, outside of some dialogue, some cutscenes, and the ending of the game ultimately, there really isn't much story to speak of in Super Mario Galaxy. But what I like about this game is not only does it introduce a unique character in Rosalina, and a character that has a fully fleshed out backstory along with these star sprites that you can learn more as you progress through the game, but you also get unique interactions with other characters in the Mario series that you wouldn't normally get to have this kind of dynamic with. Like the encounters that you have with Bowser at multiple different points throughout the game in his boss fights, Mario's relationship with Rosalina growing more and more over time, Mario interacting with Luigi of all people who joins in partway through the game, with his own unique missions and unique takes. This game isn't going to blow you away in the story department, but by Mario's standards, Super Mario Galaxy presents a very unique plot with some very original characters that makes it an enjoyable time to see. The story isn't anything too in-depth to really get into. Outside of that, it is very base level, but it works extremely well for a great platforming game like this. And when you have really cool interactions like this, with some of these story moments that are present, you can't really deny the fact that this is a solid Mario plot regardless. Before we jump to the gameplay, because there is a bit to talk about with it, considering how in-depth this game is in the Mario series, Super Mario Galaxy's visuals look fantastic and very top-notch for the Nintendo Wii, and quite frankly for the Mario series as a whole. The visuals look fantastic and amazing. Each galaxy that you visit is extremely unique. Lush environments, greenery, water levels, ice levels that look gleaming, fire levels that have lava reflecting off the walls, and just look extremely realistic for the time, as well as the Comet Observatory being extremely alive as a whole, which is your main central hub. As you go to different parts of the observatory, each of them contain multiple different galaxies that Mario can visit in order to gather up these stars that Bowser stole, in order to progress to the next level or the next galaxy, and eventually to the boss fight before you progress to the next part of the observatory to repeat the cycle all over again, to eventually reach your way to Bowser and Peach. But it is beautifully presented in the process. It is breathing, it is alive, the animation in this game is just fantastic. The visuals, if you see any footage from this game, because I could describe it all day long, and I really couldn't do it justice as to how well this game looks. So the visuals in this game blew me away, especially for a 2007 Wii game. And the music in this game is some of the best in the Mario series that I have ever heard. Entire orchestras were organized for the official soundtrack of this game, and I, to this day, even after several months after playing Super Mario Galaxy for the first time, still enjoy a lot of the tracks in this game. The Beach Galaxy, for example, has some of the best tracks that I've heard in a platformer in a long time, and I find myself going back and listening to this orchestral OST multiple times. The soundtrack in this game is just fantastic. No real criticisms as far as that goes either. The visuals and the music for sure is just amazing. The Beach Bowl Galaxy theme, though, is my favorite track from the game. Here's a snippet of it to give you guys an idea. The gameplay is the main focus of Super Mario Galaxy. The platforming that you would typically expect from a Mario game is literally turned on its head. Oh crap, I didn't mean literally. You know though, the ceiling really could use a good cleaning. I live in a messy house. For real though, the gameplay in this game is extremely unique for a number of unique gameplay functions. As you're traveling through these different galaxies and planets, each level is beautifully presented to you in a very unique fashion. Mario can do his usual spin attacks, he can jump, He can stomp enemies with his attacks. There's certain abilities and movements that you have in this game that are extremely unique thanks to the Comet Observatory, because you have access to a number of these star beings, which are known as Lumas. That's how Mario is able to do a spin attack with a Luma around him. Basically, if you use the spin attack, you have to wait for a recharge animation, and then you can spin again, which is extremely helpful. You have different unique mechanics where you can invert gravity in some areas, you can deep dive into the ocean in the Beach Bowl Galaxy and take out enemies that way. There's different power-ups that you're able to gain that are extremely unique. These power-ups are very situational. They're not really useful outside of combat scenarios or platforming, as you can't use them outside of these particular scenarios within the galaxies. But my favorite personal power-up was the Bee Suit, which is extremely unique in the Beehive Galaxy. So it's very unique and very, very cool, may I add. Actually, here's a snippet of it for that. The power-ups as a whole aren't very unique, because you can't really use them as much. But this one is pretty cool. The one thing that makes this game extremely unique is the gravity mechanics, because through each galaxy you're going with, whether you're hopping through space from comet to comet or going from platform to platform, Mario has access to a number of gravity moves, which allows him, and using the Nintendo Wii Wiimote, to be able to travel in a weird gravity inverted way, being able to go around entire planets, entire comets, and the direction of the Wiimote allows you to have this unique gravity perspective, like you're actually traveling through outer space. The weight and physics of Mario feels incredibly well. The controls work well going around these different areas and these different comets, or these different areas in general within each of these galaxies. It provides an extremely unique perspective, given the fact that you're able to travel around unique locations that you wouldn't normally see within the Mario series, as well as the combat, and for the most part, the power-ups working extremely well. The gameplay, like I'm describing right here, it sounds incredibly simplistic. It probably seems like I could be describing pretty much any Mario game, but the gameplay of this game is so in-depth with so many unique mechanics that if I were to go into every single aspect of it, we would be here all day. Just note that if you love traditional Mario platforming controls and gameplay, you will love Super Mario Galaxy's gameplay as well. It's extremely creative, extremely unique. The locations, the aesthetic, the controls, everything comes together to form an amazing platforming exploration just experience. And that's not even with going into the additional Luma abilities that Mario can use. Because in addition to getting the usual one-ups that you can use to make sure you don't die as often, so that way you have more lives in the chamber, so to speak, but you can gather these star shards that not only can use as ammunition to daze enemies whenever you shoot it at them with the Nintendo Wiimote, to temporarily stun them before you kill them with one of Mario's moves, but you can also use these star sprites to unlock additional galaxies whenever you're in the Comet Observatory. These star pieces are essentially your currency / used for your power-ups. It's extremely unique and very in-depth. I'm going to show you guys a bit of that gameplay right here, because I think it could probably do more justice than what I'm describing right here. At the end of the day, guys, with everything I've described, Super Mario Galaxy is a masterpiece. Really, there isn't anything I can really add to this game. The only real critiques that I have of this one, outside of the lackluster power-ups, just kind of given there aren't a ton of them and they're very situational, the controls can sometimes be an occasional issue, given the fact that Mario can get stuck on objects occasionally. The motion detection of the Wiimote, especially on the racing games, like the timed races, can be a little iffy. But really, those are minor nitpicks compared to what is an amazing Mario game and an amazing platformer. If you have not played this one for whatever reason, I highly encourage you to go and check out this title. This is one platformer and one Mario game you will not be disappointed by. It is just a fantastic time. And Super Mario Galaxy gets my absolute recommendation for this brief review. So, yeah, Super Mario Galaxy, very good. That will conclude today's edition of Nostalgic Blast Reviews, everybody. Thank you for coming back to the channel and checking this one out. I wanted to keep this one a bit more brief, because compared to a lot of other videos that you can watch on Super Mario Galaxy here on YouTube, I really don't have a ton to add to this game. When I was thinking about what I wanted to cover for today, I wanted to cover Galaxy because for me it's an extremely unique title, and I've never really experienced a platforming game like it outside of the Crash Bandicoot games, which I do love for the most part. But Super Mario Galaxy is just a masterpiece game in itself, more of a unique one from my perspective, so I wanted to kind of share that with you guys. But again, my thoughts are probably not any different compared to what you can watch on YouTube, so I very much appreciate those of you who decided to check this one out. Look forward to more reviews in the future whenever it is I get around to doing them. Hopefully doing some more unique games as well, thinking about maybe doing some obscure games like I've been doing as far as the reviews have gone. Like Bakugan on the Nintendo DS, if any of you remember that, or perhaps Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. I'll probably put a poll in the community tab here on the channel, so that way you guys can cast your votes on what you would like to see me cover next for a review. But outside of that, guys, thank you very much for checking out the video. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to keep up to date with not only reviews, but other future content. And subscribe if you also want to keep up. Comment down below. I probably already said subscribe. I'm a dingle. That being said, though, thank you guys very much for your feedback and input. You guys are awesome. Until next time, Nostalgics, I will see you next time on The Nostalgia Factor. Keep on gaming.